In Jamaica, May is celebrated as Child Month. I think everybody here knows that. And today is Mother's Day. So today I really want to include children and mothers in my message. We noticed a number of children, I think they were attending the Sunday school as we were walking in. I was really hoping that more of them would be in the meeting today because I want to really include the children. Now, we saw a little parade of mothers receiving tokens a little while ago. So I'm not going to ask the mothers to show hands. We saw a great-grandmother who stood. But I want to see the hands of all the children who are in the building right now. If you count yourself as a child, let me see your hands. Okay. But did you realize that that was a trick question? Because everybody here is somebody's child. So everybody should have put their hands up. Okay? But I don't have any more trick questions. All right? All of us, each of us, and every one of us is somebody's child. Okay. Can we advance the slides, please? So I was making the point that I want to include children and mothers. Next slide, please. But I really want to include everybody. Do you see anybody that you know in this picture? Or anybody that looks like somebody that you know? I chose this picture from the internet because I wanted to show persons of all ages so that you know that I'm speaking. I want to speak to everybody. Although it's Mother's Day, I want to include everyone. Okay. Next, please. And today, my message is really in two parts. Next. First, I want to teach a poem. Have you ever been taught a poem in Family Bible Hour? Okay. Next slide. And in the second part, I will share the message for Mother's Day. So let's go to the next slide. At the end, I want to ask, what will you remember and take away from today's message? So you see where I'm going? All right. Next, please. Now for the poem. And I want us to read it together. All right. Are you seeing this well enough? All right. Now, I can't see the other screen so well, so I want you to read these first two stanzas of this poem out loud so everybody is included. You see stanza 1. Next slide, please. Okay, you get that message. What is home without a Bible? We are privileged in Jamaica. There are some people that have many, many copies of the Bible in their homes. And if that is true in your house, I want to remind you, if you need a reminder, to use the Bible. Don't just have it on the shelf at your house. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, and I want us to look at stanza 3 again. What is home without a Bible? It's a family out at sea, compass lost and rudder broken, drifting, drifting aimlessly. Next. I tried to find a picture that showed a compass, a ship's compass. Can you see the sea in the back of the picture? And that's the front of the ship. And I don't know how many ships have the compass right there on the deck up front. But I think all of us know what a compass is. It helps to give us direction. And I believe that in the big ships that still stay our ocean, the captains and the other crew depend on the compass for their direction. Next slide, please. And if you can make out the back of this ship on the slide, you will see the rudder, which is that very important piece that's much smaller than the whole boat, but it helps to give direction as to the pilot who is guiding the ship. Okay? Next slide, please. So I want to teach you this poem that we read out loud as a song. And perhaps it's good that I'm teaching you because we had all the men singing this morning, so I'm going to add a little bit to them. So if you show the next slide, we'll go ahead. And I'll have to turn to remember the words, but I hope that you can hear what I am singing. Okay? What is home without a Bible? It's a home where day is night, starless night, for all life's pathway, heaven can shed no kindly light. Can you sing that with me? The first verse. What is home without a Bible? It's a home where day is night, starless night, for all life's pathway, heaven can shed no kindly light. Verse 2. What is home without a Bible? It's a home where daily bread for the body is provided, but the soul is never fed. And we'll just do the third verse in the next slide. On the next slide. Next slide, please. What is home without a Bible? It's a family out at sea, compass lost and rudder broken, drifting, drifting aimlessly. Okay, that's the end of part 1. So we'll go to the next slide. We can go forward. Next slide, please. Go ahead. That's where I want to take us. For the second part, a message for Mother's Day. Go ahead. Next slide, please. Now, I want to base everything that I say on Scripture. And the lesson from each Scripture is short. Many of us know chapter 1 of Genesis, and I chose verses 26, 27, and 28. 26. Then God said, "Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground." Next slide. So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. God blessed them and said to them, "Be fruitful and increase in number. Fill the earth and subdue it." Now, you heard Brother Rowan remind you that I'm a medical doctor. In my training, over all the years that I was trained, I understood that we were made male and female. About the last 15 or 20 years, I've heard some little voices saying from other countries where I thought that they knew better, that instead of having male and female, we had a whole lot of in-betweens. In one country, Australia, I'm naming the country because it was published from that country, there are about 20 in-betweens. But I know that biologically there's male and female. I want to remind you about that because you may be seeing some things, your children may be seeing things on social media that are trying to say to them, you are not a boy or you are not a girl, you're something in between. And some countries have gone as far as to ask people to say who they are if they're neither boy or girl. I think we have to be very careful and wise because in the beginning, God created us male or female. And I noticed a lot of females coming to get tokens today. I didn't see any in-betweens. Did you? Thank you. Let's go on. Next slide, please. So we've already been thanking God for our mothers. I included this slide because I want us to thank God for our parents. And what is written below? Without them, none of us would be here. Okay, next slide. I thank God for my parents, and I have to turn around to remind myself what I prepared to say about them. They were not perfect, but without them, I don't know where I would be now. I got guidance from my parents, and my mother in particular. I'm going to show you her picture in a little while. I bless the Lord for her because she introduced me to pastor the Bible. She took me to church, but at home, especially in vacation time, she introduced me and my brother, there were two of us, to parts of the Bible. And I believe that she prayed for me, even when I was out of her sight. And I believe that her prayers were a very important thing in my growing up years. Next slide, please. I brought in Genesis chapter 4, verse 1, using the New International Version, because when we read it in the King James Version that a lot of us are accustomed to, it kind of hides the reality. But we know the reality. And the New International Version says, Adam made love to his wife Eve, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Cain. She said, with the help of the Lord, I have brought forth a man. Isn't that interesting? The first mother said, and it was written down so that we could see it and understand it, how many years later? Several thousand years later, with the help of the Lord, she brought forth a man, her first child. Next slide, please. So this is a picture of my father, and I know that there are some sportsmen in Galilee. My father was a big football player in Trinidad. He also played cricket, and he became a cricket umpire and came to Jamaica and umpired sometimes. My parents came to Jamaica and lived here for about 4 years in the 1970s, and we were blessed to have them at that time. Next slide. And this is a picture of my mother. She went to Maranatha when my parents were here, and I don't know if some of you would have ever seen or met her. And I told you a little bit about how she was an influence for me. Next slide, please. So let's go back to the Bible. 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 5. Paul was reminding Timothy that he understood that Timothy's grandmother and Timothy's mother were influential in Timothy's Christian development. Okay, so I definitely wanted to include grandmothers. I didn't see any scripture about great-grandmothers, but great-grandmothers were grandmothers before they became great, don't it? So I don't think I've left you out, great-grandma, okay? But this scripture really reminds us of the opportunity and the privilege and the responsibility that grandmothers and mothers have to help to influence children in knowing and growing in the Lord. Next slide, please. Is parenting an easy job? That's all the more reason why we need to respect and honor our parents. I think some of you, many of you, probably all of you know Dr. Charles Royce. And you probably met Dr. Charles Royce, if not before, after Family Life Ministries was launched. And we worked with our brother and sister, Aiken, my wife and I, Dr. Charles Royce and his wife. And Dr. Royce is the one who said in my hearing for the first time that parenting is the hardest job that he knows, because by the time you think you know the job has changed because the child has gotten older, you know? So it's not an easy job. So for all parents, fathers and mothers, grandfathers and grandmothers, we need to keep in touch with the Lord as we ask him for the wisdom, the grace, the patience, and everything that we need to be parents. And you know, I want to include other caregivers, because there are some people who have not had the privilege of becoming biological parents, but you are an important person as an adult. I once read a story that was entitled The Joy of Aunting. And the person who wrote the story had to compose a word for aunts, aunties, because aunties can be very important proxy parents. So I want to include aunties and godparents as I speak this morning. Teachers also, school teachers, can be very important proxy parents. So am I including everybody? Okay, very important. Okay, so Dr. Royce says it's not easy to be a parent. Next slide, please. Now, Brother Ron, you didn't steal my thunder. I don't believe in that. But you reinforced what I prepared to say by bringing the scripture about John and Mary from Jesus on the cross. And in a little while I'm going to go there. But my question to us is, how long does the job of parenting last? And the video that you showed gave the answer. I had no idea that you had that kind of video with somebody who has been a mother for 50-something years. So the question is answered before I came to the platform. Because I used to think that parenting was for 18 years. You know, I really used to think parenting was for 18 years. But now we have children who are, first one is 50, and he still relates to us as his parents. Okay? And we are grandparents, as you have heard. So maybe it feels a little disappointing to young parents because you thought, like I thought, that it was for 18 years. Or if you're thinking of becoming a parent and you're allowed to think ahead, okay, but do it at the right time, at the right place, and with the right person, okay? But it's for much longer than 18 years, all right? And that's very important. The relationship changes. You cannot treat your 16-year-old as though she was a two-year-old. Am I making sense? You cannot treat your 10-year-old as though he is a 20-year-old. So we need wisdom and guidance as parents. I wish that there was a parenting book and a parenting curriculum, a parenting course that we could take to become more effective parents. Because we go to school and learn all kinds of things, and then we become a parent, and it's as though we were not well prepared. But those of us who had the blessing of having good parents take pattern from good parents, and we learn a lot, and we resemble, our parenting styles resemble those of the persons who parented us. Okay? Even the aunts and uncles. Am I making sense? Right. Okay. But our main guide as Christian believers is the scriptures. Okay? And we are blessed to have older persons who can be mentors to us, who we can go and ask advice from sometimes. So the same question, how long does the job of a mother last? Let's go forward, please. And here's where I'm going to show that scripture where Jesus, in his agony on the cross, had the presence of mind. That's amazing to ask, to point to John and say, behold your mother. And to point to Mary and to say, behold your son. Amazing, amazing example. Let's go forward. I showed some photos and in this one there's a grandmother and a mother. How long does the job of a mother last? Well, you had a video that was better than what I have to say. All right? Next, please. And this is the scripture. Okay, can you read it? Yeah, amazing, amazing. Next slide, please. And we're nearly through. So, to all mothers, grandmothers, and our one great-grandmother, happy Mother's Day. There's another great-grandmother? I didn't see when you raised your hand. So you're included, right? Happy Mother's Day. Another one. You were shy? Okay, to the great-grandmothers. And finally, what will you remember and take away from today's entire program including the 2 messages that I chose to share. I want you to turn to someone close to you. It could be 2 persons or 1. And if you're sitting by yourself, you may have to turn back or you may have to change your seat. But tell them 1 or 2 things that you will remember and take away from today's messages.
Everyone just say the truth.